Welcome to the latest episode of TheFederal's Worldly Wise, a program that attempts to take a closer look at trending international issues. Today, it is the turn of the Panama Canal, specifically the threat by United States President Donald Trump to take over the canal. Panama Canal belongs to Panama, a sovereign nation in Central America. Looking at the events of the last 2 months, since Trump took over the US presidency for a second term, his threat needs to be taken seriously. Can Trump actually do it? The answer is clear and simple. Yes, the US can take over the Panama Canal whenever it wishes to. There are 200 US troops permanently stationed in the canal zone. Can't Panama defend its sovereignty? The answer again is obvious no. Is Panama at the mercy of the US? Yes, it is. Not just Panama, but the entire Western Hemisphere, and more specifically, South and Central America. US neocolonialism has dictated politics, life, and culture in South America for around 2 centuries. Panama is no exception. Trump and his supporters in the Republican Party claim it is their legitimate right to take back the Panama Canal that was originally built by the United States. A brief look at history is in order here. The canal, which is 82 kilometers long, connects the Pacific Ocean in the east and the Atlantic in the west, opening out into the Caribbean Sea. It is a human purpose-built structure to reduce the distance for freight carrying ships, which otherwise would have to traverse the entire length of South America to get from one side to the other. Around 2.5 to 4% of the world's trade passes through the Panama Canal. Some 40 to 70% of US outbound and incoming freight container traffic goes through the canal. Way back in 1880, the French conceived the idea of the canal and started construction, but they encountered difficulties. Some reports said that the French went bankrupt, in fact. In 1903, the US took over the construction and completed it in 1914. It retained control of the Panama Canal until 1999. Some 22 years earlier, that is in 1977, the then Democratic President Jimmy Carter, known for his pro-peace or a pacifist worldview, signed a treaty with Panama, handing over the canal to the Central American country. Over the next 2 decades, the process of handover occurred in phases. The US withdrew finally in 1999. Today, Trump terms Carter's decision as foolish, that the US should never have given away Panama Canal to Panama. So why did Carter do it? Not because he was large-hearted, generous, etc., but for reasons entirely political. Over the years, the citizens of Panama resented the US's control of the canal. In the 1960s, the canal became a major flashpoint with frequent protests against US control. In 1964, violent riots resulted in the killing of 20 Panama citizens and 4 US soldiers. As anger continued to simmer over the issue, Carter decided to hand over the canal to Panama, and as he saw merit in their demand, he also felt it would dilute the US's domineering image and improve relationship with South American countries overall. A section of Republicans was always opposed to Carter's move. Their opportunity has now arrived with Donald Trump's ascendance as president for the second time. Trump has found an excuse by bringing in the Chinese into the picture. According to the Trump camp, a Hong Kong-based company, CK Hutchison, is in charge of 2 ports on either side of the canal. In the event of a conflict, China can stop the passage of US ships through the canal, they say, which can be deadly for US interests. Panama in 2017 cut off ties with Taiwan in keeping with Chinese sensitivities. Again, a point of irritation for Trump, as it showed proximity between China and Panama. These are obviously exaggerated reasons, as Panama is very much in the US sphere of influence. No China or any other power can even contemplate meddling here. A few years ago, Panama joined the Chinese signature trade program, the Belt and Road Initiative. That has been another red rag for the Republicans and provides additional justification for the US administration to cry foul. With Trump breathing down the neck of Panama President Jose Raul Mulino, the government has decided to withdraw from China's BRI. This is an indication that Panama will not be able to withstand US pressure. This has always been the case, in fact. In 1989, the then Panama's military dictator, Manuel Antonio Noriega, was accused by the US of drug trafficking, money laundering, and related charges and wanted him tried in the US. When Noriega defied the US, the administration of George Bush Sr. sent in 20,000 troops into Panama, deposed the dictator, and carted him away to the US, where he spent the rest of his life in jail. There is no reason why the US cannot do something similar if Panama resists Trump. In an attempt to preempt Trump from using military aggression, Panama has tried to be conciliatory. As stated earlier, it has downgraded its relationship with China. A New York-based entity, BlackRock, and an Italian maritime company have acquired control of the two sides of the Panama Canal from Hutchison, a deal worth $23 billion. Despite all this, Trump has asked the US military to be prepared to forcibly take over the Panama Canal. Whether the US president means business or he's doing it to extract more concessions for the US will be known sooner than later.